You're live.
Thanks Vanessa and Jamie. My name is Ashley and welcome to Leadership Channel. Today we are going to bring to you someone really special. What are you watching?
I'm watching a video of my secondary school crush lah.
Oh, secondary school crush. Who is he?
Come, I show you.
I always enjoy Mr. Yap's lessons.
His lessons are full of energy and are always interesting. Mr. Yap is a very enthusiastic person. He uses real-life applications to help us have a better view of the concepts that he is teaching, rather than using textbook examples.
I enjoy spending hours investigating various modes of teaching and designing models for physics. I find myself energized by teaching innovatively. It is a challenge and a craft to make my lessons constantly fun and engaging so that the students learn better. In teaching about capturing experimental data, I make it clear to my students to strive for accuracy and we should not manipulate the data to get the required outcomes. What developed me professionally are the continuous learning opportunities through network learning with other physics teachers.
When I told Mr. Yap that I didn't like physics as it was irrelevant to my life, he related it to my CCA, tennis, and using the example, he taught me topics like kinematics and forces. He never lost faith in me and constantly encouraged me to push on.
Mr. Yap is really such an inspiring figure. No wonder he was a secondary school crush.
Because lah, you know how many girls like him or not? Last time in TKGS, he used to teach physics in a very interesting way. And not only that, he's also very generous. He teaches other teachers about his methodologies.
Wow, I'm really so fascinated by the teaching tools he actually used to impart physics to his students. But is he currently still with TKGS?
No lah, he's now teaching at the Singapore Academy of Teachers, mentoring other teachers. And in 2012, he won the President's Award.
President's Award. Wow, I learned that some leaders actually claim a new vision, but it's actually old wine in new bottle. Mr. Yap's vision for education is so different from what I actually learned back in secondary school. How I wish I had Mr. Yap back then.
Actually, you're in good luck today.
Me?
Yes, you.
Why?
Because my friends and I went to conduct an interview with Mr. Yap just last week.
Wow.
So let's now go and find out what his personal vision is.
Alright, let's go!
I believe that in teaching is a mission-driven for me, so it's not a reward-driven. I think for many years what keeps me going is really the belief that what I'm doing has a greater impact beyond what I can imagine. So it may be 20 years down the road, the student will feel that finally I'm seeing what Mr. Yap did in the classroom has really helped me in life. Yeah, so not so much of focusing on the result, make sure that they do well, but really on what are the life skills I can impart to them that will help them to do better in their lives. Firstly, the subject itself is a hobby to me, so I enjoy creating new lessons. So the latest one is the fish tank with a hole at the side, the one that you see in the underwater world, where the fishes can come out but the water will not overflow. So I created one miniature one for classroom teaching. So I constantly look for creative ideas, something that will capture student attention. It's my hobby, so it does not require much effort to do it because I enjoy doing it. I do it when I'm on leave, when I'm on holiday, I keep a lookout for all these ideas. So another thing is I enjoy interaction with students, and I would say that as what I mentioned is that I believe everyone has great potential in them, and that's the reason why I design my lessons such that I allow individual to have a voice. So there will be a component whereby individual student will have a chance to pick up on quietly write down what they feel about this before I get them to share among their groups. So I believe everyone is unique, and sometimes I think very often the student give me more ideas than to how to teach better. So I would say that it's a teamwork, not just with my teachers but with the student as well, because knowing the student, which is my learners, helps me to design my lesson better.
Wow, I'm really so inspired by his methods as well as dedication towards teaching. Even when he's on holidays, he actually uses real-life examples to develop relatable teaching methods.
Actually, what he mentioned in the video really reminds me about what I've learned in class about leaders, visionators, having the social motives to lead.
Oh, right. You mean Mosaic of leadership. Actually, Zhen, I never really pay much attention to the class, but I remember that the most important function of a leader is to develop a clear vision for the future and to secure commitment to the idea.
At least remember that Mr. Yap not only recognizes that teaching is not reward-driven, but he also strongly believes in a long-term ripple effect that can influence his students beyond the classroom setting.
Wow, but I'm curious though, does his vision actually change over time since he actually went from teaching students to teachers?
Maybe. Let's find out.
Right.
It's the same because the teachers are my students now, so I still continue to teach in Yusof Ishak. I have one class of teaching. Yeah. So like Tuesday will be the day which I'm down in the school. So I still continue to teach, and well, a lot of teachers will be observing how I teach in a particular topic. So students are still, I would say, they're different age groups. They're all my students. It started off because the subject itself is what I'm passionate about. Then when I'm put in the school context, I feel that there's a meaning behind the hobby and how to make use of the hobby to help other people. So it come about initially is as a passion for the subject. And I also realized that many people talk about caring teacher. So I didn't know I'm a caring teacher until one of the students put in a comment that, I put in so much effort to prepare the lesson. It shows that I care about that. So that's where I started to realize that, actually it's true that, not just my hobby, the reason why I go beyond is because I really care about it. And in the Singapore education system, we have the beginning teacher, then we have experienced teacher, we have senior teacher, lead teacher, and master teacher, which is my present appointment, and the principal master teacher. So in this journey, because I chose to be in the teaching track. So in the teaching track, my leadership started as I become a senior teacher. I started doing my mentoring many years back. So my role as a senior teacher is to pass on the right values, the right attitudes in terms of teaching. To the teachers. So I started training teachers ever since 14 years ago. It's just that majority of my load is teaching, 20% of my load as teacher training. Now over here is the other way around. 80% teacher training, 20% teaching.
Wow, it's so interesting to know that even a Thai teacher like Mr. Yap actually relies on feedback from others to develop his vision.
Not only that, as he climbs the ladder to become a master teacher, he also managed to influence other teachers to take on his vision, better teachers.
Now that you mention it, he kind of resembles a visionator, but do you think he actually possesses any other traits that makes him a Renaissance leader?
Well, how about change agent?
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Mr. Yap is not only a leader with great vision, but he brings about changes to people around him.
Yeah, he's quite influenced, He managed to influence people to do things beyond their expectations.
Oh yeah, and as he mentioned, anything is possible.
Now let's find out about how he managed to change people.
When I first started teaching, my method was rather unique, I would say. So the teachers and the school leaders at that time, they couldn't accept what I'm doing. So for example, I can stand on the tabletop to demonstrate friction. So it happens that one occasion, the principal walked past and saw me on the table. So that was the beginning, first 2 years of my teaching. So the principal commented that it's not becoming of a teacher to stand on the table. But I still believe that that's the best way for a student to see. I have a class size of 40. If I don't stand on the table, they can't see what is happening between my shoes sole and the contact surface. So I choose to continue my practice. And then after, in order not to invite questions, so I close all my classroom window and just do all this demo. I still carry on for many years. Until probably about 4 years into teaching, they started to come out this ministry approach and teach less than more. So they started to look into this innovative teaching approach. That's where my way of doing things started to get recognized. I try even the principal also find that my teaching actually is quite unique and I can engage the students so well. So actually along the way, school leaders also convinced that I can engage my students.
Because you produce results, is it?
Results and also the students' comment and the parents' comment. That's good. So I think the truth will tell itself. Which is the best approach. No one can deny it is the truth.
So Mr. Yap's secret behind change is perseverance. It's quite amazing how his creative methods managed to gain acceptance by his bosses. So I guess, in order to bring about change, all we have to do is tahan, tahan, tahan.
Siao eh. That's just one of the many ingredients to bring about change lah. Mr. Yap actually abides by his own framework to constantly get his students interested and engages them so that he can induce a change in their mindset. Let's take a look.
So I share this with the teachers and teach them how to close their gap. So I get them to think about what's the desired classroom and the current reality and how to close their gap. So I teach them the different way of using certain framework of closing the gap to improve their teaching.
Wow, that pyramid sure looks legit, sia. It looks like the Cortez 8 steps of change model.
Actually, not so much lah. Mr. Yap pays a lot of attention to understand his followers before initiating a change that is tailored to them.
Oh, then it must be the Manning and Curtis personalized change model. Let's take a look. In the Manning and Curtis model, the very first step is to have a good reason for change. Mr. Yap builds a relationship with his students, and through this relationship, he allows his students to understand the need to learn physics through a different way. By his daily conversations with his students, he manages to convey the message that physics is more than just academics. And in step 2, personalize the change. Through this step, Mr. Yap designs lessons according to the different needs and learning abilities of each student. In the model, step 3 actually mentions about implementing change thoughtfully. Without a doubt, he puts in a lot of thought and effort in designing each class and conveying the importance of values through his physics lessons. In putting a respected person in charge for coordinating change, Mr. Yap mentioned that he will try to initiate change through influencing the chairperson in class. And telling the truth, he is very transparent in his actions and is authentic in his teaching. And last but not least, waiting patiently for results as well as acknowledging and rewarding people. Mr. Yap constantly acknowledges his students' efforts by praising as well as motivating them.
Yes, that makes sense. But do you think a standard framework will be able to bring about change all the time? I'm sure Mr. Yap has something to say about that.
Important thing is fairness and consistency. So for example, when students talking while you are teaching, you don't want to disrupt the whole lesson. Probably you will use a staring approach. That's step number one. And you will look at the student, and then if the student didn't see you looking, you will ask another student to remind him that I'm watching. And so at the same time, I'm still talking and teaching, but occasional staring. So the whole lesson is not disrupted. Okay. Because this is the first step. If they are just, probably distracted by, it's live. In life, in the morning, whatever we go through, we will stay with you and they need time to settle in. So you also must understand, but by staring, they know. So sometimes they will withhold their conversation. If they still continue to do that, the next step will be move forward, tap the table, so they want to become physically nearer. Yeah. If they still don't, probably I will give warning already. I will talk to them. So important thing is to be very clear about how you feel. But all this will not work if you do not have rapport with them. So you have to have very strong rapport with them in order for all this method to work. Because I believe in relationship. So after that, I believe that during the lesson when I talk, the student have to listen because I care about what happened in the class and I want them to be successful. So all these are communicated very clearly to the student. So when I school them, they will not feel that, they're taken aback and how Mr. Young becomes so fierce today. We know that when they cross the line, I will get really very upset.
Oh wow, it's interesting how Mr. Yap doesn't only use one rigid framework to bring about change. He realizes that each student is unique and he adapts his leadership style to fit their needs.
Yes, wait. His process of change can be related to something we learned in class before, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's it called, Zhen? The Ross-Boss change curve or something?
Your head lah! It's the Kubler-Ross change curve.
Ah, that one. Correct.
That is true. Mr. Yap creates alignment with his students by building a rapport, and he maximizes communication by making an effort to talk to his students every day. Through his planned and personalized lessons, he sparks motivation in his students and allows them to see the fun and practicality in learning physics. Once students are motivated, Mr. Yap will put in his utmost to develop his students' capability to the fullest. He even shares knowledge by allowing students to personally contact him anytime regarding any matters from how household appliances work to how to avoid getting struck by lightning when there's a storm.
Wow, that is so cool. Don't you think that teaching is really such a noble job? It makes me feel like becoming a teacher in the future too.
He said the future generations. Talking about future generations, Mr. Yap's teacher has dedicated 20 years of his life helping students with their studies and ensuring that each batch is better than the last.
How about let's just go and find out what servant leadership actually means to him.
Let's go.
I just believe in one thing. If you are truthful in your heart and the way you are doing things, when you understand what is true meaning of relationship, you can help them solve. So I learned how to help the student. They don't like to come to school for some reason. So I'll get them to think about the positive thing. I will personally make a notebook for them. Take some color paper, cut it out, tie a ribbon. Tell them put down all the positive things that you feel about the school, and then get her best friend to wait for her outside on the bus stop to walk in together. Because I'm specialized in teachers training, I go over to Sri Lanka to help the teachers. I believe that rather than go around and teaching their students, the impact may be a few hundred. So I started teaching their teachers so that the impact can be more.
Hey, Zhen, what are you doing?
You cannot see me, I'm trying to display servant leadership. In class, we learned that servant leadership is a calling to serve, and it begins with an innate desire to help others. Don't you think my actions resemble Mr. Yap, where he puts in so much effort to help students?
For Mr. Yap, yeah, I think he's a great example of a servant leader, and he's definitely someone that all of us can actually look up to. But Zhen, don't you think that his servant leadership actually changed over the years?
That's true. He first began as a beginner teacher, where he helped the students and showed them a lot of support in their studies. Sometimes he even stayed till very late to give them remedial lessons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Zhen, there got rubbish.
Oh, where?
So, continuing from his journey as a beginner teacher, when he actually became a lead teacher, his focus was more than just the academics, but he actually inculcated good values as well as focus on character building for his class. But what's more, he dedicated time each week to actually teach his colleagues his teaching methods. And what this means is that students from other classes can also benefit from his teaching methods. Don't you think it's amazing?
I think what's more amazing is that he has risen up to become a master teacher. Very impressive, huh? But of course, this comes with a bigger responsibility where he has to improve teaching in Singapore schools. But he still retained his original vision of making a positive impact in students' life but in a different way. Ultimately, he sees this as a way to shape Singapore's education and nurture students better. Wow, I can't wait to see what bigger achievements he can get in the future.
He will surely go far in life. Not only has he won the students over, but also the teachers by showing them great leadership in genuinely helping them to improve as well as providing support to Singapore teachers. I don't think I ever came this close to having a teacher with this amount of dedication. How does he actually keep up with this passion over the years?
Actually, not everything is rainbows and butterflies actually. He definitely has his ups and downs, and his biggest motivation is probably his religion, which has guided him to give without expecting anything in return. I feel that this job can be really trying at times, and for him to have placed his faith in something bigger than all of us really helped him and kept him going. Anyway, what's important is that he managed to remain committed to his students in all of his career.
Zhen, just curious. So after all this, is he still your crush?
Yeah, of course not lah, but he's definitely a leader for all of us to emulate. Hashtag goals, hashtag Singapore mother, hashtag Mosaic of leadership.
Bimbo sia you. Anyway, after talking for so long, a bit thirsty and hungry. You wanna grab some food?
Yeah, I heard there's this place that sells great pasta.
Great pasta?
Yeah,
Where?
tea party.
Sounds good. How about let's just wrap this up and then we head over there now.
Okay.
Back to you, Jamie and Vanessa.